Welcome to the True Wealth Investors Real Estate Podcast. Creative investing strategies to help you build true wealth. I'm your host, Chad Harris. Hello, everybody. Glad to have you back as always. Good to see you. I'm glad to have you here on True Wealth Investors, where we believe that when we make decisions today, the decisions that we do make today have a lasting impact much longer than our lifetime. And so a lot of times reason I was thinking of this today was I was talking to someone about fear in investing and what the market's going to do moving forward. And the decisions we make when we are feeling fearful will not only dictate what our business does today and what our life will be moving forward, but it will also have a lasting impact on our children's legacy, what we leave them afterwards, the legacy that we teach them about how to handle fear and how to make decisions in fearful times. And it'll also impact our community, right? The quality of our life, the way we live our life, and the impact that our businesses have is a legacy in our community and for our family. And in some ways, that can sound really serious, right? That's a lot of weight to hold on decisions, but it's also just a part of life. And it gives more power to our day, knowing that the decisions we make today, the decisions we make this week, have a lasting impact on our family and our community. There's so much more than just the impact in our business. It is our legacy that we leave behind. And so when people talk about their businesses and they just take it too lightly, right now there's a lot of people who are recommending seller finance deals that make no sense. There's no equity, there's no cash flow. And the basis of the seller finance deal is that prices will rise, everything will work out. You'll have an exit strategy down the road where it either cash flows or you can sell it. And that's all fine and dandy if it works out, right? That is actually a big gamble based on all these unknown factors as to what the future will hold. Now, the people recommending you do these deals then say, if the market doesn't go up, you just give the keys back to the seller. What does it matter to you? You've lost nothing. What you really lost is your integrity, because that seller, now you are not doing what you said you were going to do. You are not making payments on their behalf, and you are giving the keys back to the seller. That is a really big deal. And if your business is based on making promises and not following through on promises, that is not the legacy we want to have in our community. That's not the legacy we want to leave our family. All right. So today's topic is, who is our competition? And right now, the market is competitive, right? Deals are tough. And the people who are getting deals over and over, actually buying good deals, they're working at it. It's not easy. You have to put in a lot of effort. You have to make a lot of offers. And so who really are we competing against? Who is our competition? Now, obviously, our competition, we can look at this esoterically, and our competition is us. And we're going to be our greatest limitation. That's 100% true. We're only going to rise to the level that we are capable of, right? And so if we invest in ourselves to make ourselves better, we'll be able to rise to a higher level. That's true, but that's not really what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is other investors, right? In your market, there will only be so many houses sold in the next year. And if you want to have some of those houses, you are going to have to outcompete other investors. other buyers in your market. That's just the nature of it. And so, whatever your market is, it is a fact that only so many people will sell their house, and there are only so many buyers. And so, if you want to buy properties, you are going to have to outwork or outbid, outcompete the other people looking for deals. Now, if you've been doing that, if you've been bidding on properties, a common complaint that I hear is people say, "Oh, I made a good offer on that property. Somebody else made a ridiculous offer. They offered too much. They're never going to make money on that deal." Okay. If you haven't said that or heard that, just stick around a little while. Plenty of people are saying it right now. There's a flaw in that logic, though. And the flaw is that there's only one way to figure the profitability of a deal. And that's completely not true. So, as a really quick example, if there are two buyers and they're making their estimate for the rehab, and one is planning to hire everything out, and the other one is planning to buy materials and do all the work himself, those two people are going to make completely different estimates for the rehab, and therefore the number they're willing to pay or the offer they're willing to make will be completely different. All right. Another example, maybe one buyer has a construction company, and the reason he buys real estate deals is to keep his employees busy when they don't have other work to do. In that instance, his reasoning for purchasing the deal is completely different than somebody else's reasoning. The numbers he's willing to pay, because essentially he'll pay his staff, and then when he sells that flip, he'll get the money back to be able to pay his staff on the next deal. That's a completely different concept of profit than somebody else doing the work themselves or somebody else hiring it out where that money is lost once they've paid it. Okay. So, interesting things to look at. And then you have other buyers with completely different numbers. So, if you're looking at a hedge fund competing with hedge funds uh, historically pay ridiculous numbers, right? Why would they pay so much money? Or if you have out of state investors, here in Ohio, we have lower purchase prices than a lot of other areas in the country. So you have a lot of different investors from California where their incomes are much higher, and they can invest in Ohio properties where the purchase price is much lower and get more for their money. Now, those investors are investing for totally different reasons than most of us investing, right? Their top priority might be a place to put cash so that they get a return. Top priority might be a way to use leverage so that they get a better cash on cash return than they could in the stock market. Top priority might be just tax benefits so that they can shelter profits in another area. We really don't know. And so my point is, everybody's going to make their offer based on their situation and their numbers. It's not that one offer is a good offer and one offer is a bad offer. It is, what is our incentive? What are we trying to accomplish with the deal? And then how do we make the best offer we can, all right, to beat our competition? Now, most of us are using the BRRRR strategy if we're looking to buy rentals. If we're buying a flip, it's really the same figure, right? We're looking at that 70% rule. And so we're taking the ARV, or after repair value, multiplying it times 70% and subtracting out our rehab costs. Depending on the ARV, maybe you go up to 75%, something like that. If you're doing the BRRRR, maybe you're willing to go up to 80%. Those numbers will fluctuate slightly, but it's really the same formula. If you're using that formula and you're making offers and you know the buyers that are winning the offers are other investors just like you, then we have a real issue, right? Because they're looking for the same outcome, cash flow and building equity so that they can get their money back. If they're looking for the same outcome and running numbers in a similar way, and we're still losing, then we may have an issue. So usually if that's the case, if we're losing offers to other investors who have a similar mindset to us, it's not a hedge fund, it's not a out-of-state investor, something like that. They are a similar type of investor to us and we're still missing out, then usually it's going to come down to one, we're not running our rehab numbers very well. Maybe we're super conservative and we're bumping all the numbers up. Maybe we're using too much reserves in there because we're nervous about the rehab. Maybe somebody, because they haven't done a lot of deals, they just bump those rehab numbers up to make sure they cover anything, in which case you're going to price yourself out of the offer. So that could be one. The other issue is you could be using the same numbers as everybody else, right? If you're using the same financing as everybody else making their offers, well, then yes, it is hard to win. If we're running the same numbers and using the same tools as our competition, that is a losing strategy, right? If we really want to beat our competition, then we need to find different tools. We need different financing. If our competition on this Burr deal is running their numbers based on a commercial loan on the refinance at, let's say, 9.5%, then if we can raise private money at 6%, we are going to win that deal. We're going to win that offer. If we're doing a flip and our competition is using hard money, 3 points and 12%, let's say, and we're coming in with private money, 6 to 8%, no payment while we're doing the rehab, we're going to win, right? We can give that seller a little more money because our expenses on the flip, our holding costs are much lower. So my point to this whole discussion is if you're missing out on deals, if you feel like you aren't winning the competition, really look at how can you tweak your numbers? How can you use different tools than your competition? And you know, I'm a big advocate of private money and seller financing as well. But in this instance, if we can raise private money, if we have that skill, which really isn't that complicated, most of it is just learning how to structure conversations. If you can learn that skill so that we can raise money from private lenders, 6% interest, 7% interest, interest only payments, or no payment while we're working on the property, then we are going to have much lower financing costs than our competition, and we are going to get more deals. All right. So I hope that's inspiring to you because in the end, it is really impactful if we can do deals. If we are building a portfolio, that portfolio is going to be a massive legacy, right? Not only the life that we're able to lead because we have figured out how to do successful deals, but the experiences we've shared with other people, the experiences we've given to our family, the impact we've had in our community. So it's not just about numbers. The numbers matter. And as we grow our business, the numbers get really great, but the impact is really the lasting part and the most important part of it. So I hope you're excited about this. I hope you're ready to have a really great legacy for your family, loved ones, for your community, and see your business not only as a machine that generates money, not only as a spreadsheet with numbers, see your business as a tool to leverage so that you can have a lasting impact. All right. Always appreciate you joining in. Until next week, Keep building your dream life one door at a time. We are adding new episodes every week, so make sure and subscribe and check out all of our content at truewealthinvestors.com.